According to the video yesterday, I had some friends that came to talk to me about last week. And this is going to be very short, you know, to the point. But I was telling my friends, male and female, at work, that you have to be very careful what you involve yourself in the latter years of your life. And I was just trying to explain to them, I've pretty much been through everything that you can imagine in terms of being with a woman. I mean, I've had relationships with women. I've moved women in my place. I've had a couple of sons by one woman. And I went through the thing a couple of times of wanting to marry someone. And I've done everything that you could possibly do with a woman except be foolish enough to get married. And so I look at my life as kind of not really unique, but the only uniqueness that I see in my life is that there's a whole lot of brothers out there that have similar circumstances of mine. The only thing that makes me stand out, as far as I'm concerned, is the fact that I've decided that I would never marry. And it doesn't have anything to do with my discontent when it comes to women in relationships. It's just that what I'm setting myself out to do, marriage wouldn't be a good thing for me. Because, like I said, a writer has to be in a situation to where everything around him bears peace and contentment. And the type of books and content that I'm going to put out in the world this year, you have to be in an environment to where you don't have any more conflict. Now, there's some brothers that I was close to. They went off and they got married. I've seen some brothers when I was coming up in Chicago who were very good friends with my uncles, and as soon as they got married, there was a breaking off. And this breaking off didn't involve any discompatibilities in between my uncles and their friends or anything like that. To me, in my observation of the whole marriage thing, what I've noticed is that as soon as one person gets married, all of a sudden, everything stops. And of course, life is going to move on. Life is going to move on. But me, in particular, I don't see myself getting married. It was only one woman that I was totally at peace with, and I think I mentioned her a couple of times. Her name was Kim, and we used to take walks together. But I've already discussed that. But that's the only woman that made me feel as though I wanted to spend the rest of my life. However, as time went on, I found out that that wasn't a situation that would have been healthy for me to get myself in, because she wasn't able to think for herself. She had a family that was kind of prejudiced and biased and all of those things. And she wasn't the type of woman that was able to think for herself. She was pretty much able to figure most things out of life up, all the way up to the point to where it came to her own life. But in terms of the video yesterday, a friend of mine was saying, "Hey, bro, it just seemed like you just cut her off immediately for things that were small." Well, big and small, just like good and evil and other things, those are point of views. And I've had a lot of experience with women, and a whole lot of things that I see today that a whole lot of guys choose to put up with and drag themselves through is only because of these women being so physically attractive. And these men are attached to the flesh. They want these women around all the time because these women are very attractive. Myself, I don't really care how attractive you are. With me, attitude is everything. And by me being a writer, as I said, attitude, a bad attitude contaminates the environment. And if my environment is contaminated with chaos and disorder, I won't be able to produce what I need to do individually in life. So when it all boils down to it, I've been through it already. I'm 60 years old, and relationships didn't work out for me, and so I'm done with it, and I'm just going to move on. Now there are some women who I date from time to time, but we have an understanding. It's just we see each other sometimes, and sooner or later they're going to break off. They're going to find someone, and they're going to break off, and they're going to get married to these guys, and life is going to move on with me. Now a whole lot of women complain that I'm not very expressive with my emotions, but when I was like that, I found myself into trouble, and I found myself struggling to get myself back in order. This is what I was trying to tell Red yesterday. You need to spend time alone and get back in touch with yourself, or get in touch with yourself, but looking for someone to take out your anger and frustrations out on, that's not going to help you. That's not going to help you at all, because those people don't deserve it. If you have some hurt inside, if you have some frustrations inside, you have to deal with those hurts and those frustrations yourself. Now if you're not willing to go get some counseling, then you're going to have to take time to deal with yourself the same way I did, and that's just it. It's just the way it is. And so that's pretty much all I have to say, and I don't even know if I'm going to post this, because to me, this is irrelevant. I have other things that I need to concentrate on. And what I've come to know, and I only speak from experience, I know that in a lot of instances, the whole journey of dealing with self, it's difficult to begin that journey, because what makes it difficult to begin that journey is the fact that we have a tendency of always pointing the finger at the people who did us harm. Now, that's true, but you spend a lot of time, or we spend a lot of time, pointing the finger at the people who did us harm. That's not going to resolve your pain, because regardless of what that other person or those other people committed against you, those people in time are going to pay for that, or maybe they won't. But you will find out in this living journey that when it all comes down to it, regardless of what other people done to you, you still are going to have to decide to deal with yourself. That's where your healing begins. Your healing begins with you taking responsibility for yourself. And even if you made some choices that were in good intent and ended up being a major mistake, you still have to understand that your responsibility is admitting that in spite of the decision that you made being in good intent, that's decision that you made is still what eventually led you to being hurt. So when it all boils down to it, and it is a fact that regardless of what other people have done to you, you still have to take responsibility for your own healing. That's my point. You have to take responsibility for your own healing. And that's just a fact. I mean, it's a hard lesson to have to learn, and it takes you sometimes years to understand that no one really cares about your pain. They really don't. And I know that's a harsh thing to say, and that may be solely based upon my own life experience, because I've been through so much with my family. And outside of my family, when I tried to grow my own family, that blew up in my face as well. It seems as though with my particular life, without trying to sound as though I'm feeling sorry for myself, I'm just telling you about a pattern that I've been through all of my life. It just seems like when it comes to me and family relationships, I always end up being a relative, but I'm not a family member. Someone who is involved in family outings and things like that. I'm a relative, but I'm not a family member. I wasn't invited to any family reunions or anything like that. So when I developed my own family in reference to my two sons and their mother, that blew up in my face. So when after going through so many different relationships, trying to gain a family and some, or eventually gain a wife, in some instances, sometimes just things just don't seem to work out in that particular area. And then when you keep moving forward and you get to the point to where you enjoy writing so much, and writing helps you deal with your pain, you come to find out how much you enjoy your own company. I see a lot of memes, and I saw one that had Brother Denzel Washington walking when he was playing the character Lucas, Frank Lucas. I have to paraphrase it, but he was basically implying, I like being alone, and that way I don't have to trust anybody. The only person that I have to trust is myself. And it's getting to the point to where a lot of people are being made to feel like that, because we as human beings have hurt one another so much. And as Red was trying to do to me yesterday, instead of dealing with ourselves, we want to take our pains out on one another. I've gotten to the place in my life to where I am absolutely content with where I am right now. And it took me it took me a long time to get here, especially after what I've just previously went through in Georgia, when I felt like my whole life was shredded. When I was in a position to where I took a whole lot of verbal abuse from a whole lot of people and emotional abuse from a whole lot of people. And there were times to where I felt as though I wasn't going to recover from that. And so I had to, as one of my videos said, I had to die to the former self and become a new. So I tell people, I understand what Yeshua said, that you have to be born again into the spirit. You have to be born again, not reborn. As I always say, we're not dealing with the former self. We have to be born again entirely. And so that also implies that your whole way of thinking and feeling has to be completely new. You have to not recycle any of the former thinking and the former ways that you ended up feeling. You have to leave all of that behind you. You have to move forward. You have to move forward. I mean, that's the only way that you're gonna be successful. So as you go on, you're gonna find yourself, your life being in what I call the season of fall, of when the fall season is when everything dies and the leaves from the tree fall to the surface. And those leaves represent people falling out of your lives, and you represent the tree because you're still there, you're still alive. And what are you gonna do? You're just gonna fall with the rest of the leaves? No. It's just you're going to have to understand that as life goes on, people are going to fall out of your life. And a whole lot of those people you're never going to see again. And a lot of these people could be living right there in the same city with you. And you still are never going to see these people again, because your life is designed as such. And the majority of the time, it's best that you don't see those people again, especially considering you were very genuine in your relationship with them. And then you find out these people were talking behind your back, they were slandering you and all of that. And you kept going back and forth with them, trying to be the best brother that you could possibly be. And no matter how many times you tried to develop an honest relationship with them in terms of brotherhood and friendship, these people are just not able to be as genuine as you, because they're gonna always turn against you. I don't know how many times it doesn't care. It doesn't matter how many times you try to put forth an honest effort to build something with these people. It is not in your design for that to be such. And so once you come to that conclusion and you accept it, you move on. And so that's pretty much in every area of your life. And that's in every area of my life. I think I didn't have too much coffee. Fumbling over my words, but that's pretty much it. And so once you get to that point and you go out with someone like I did yesterday, and you see certain signs that could develop into a chaotic lifestyle, and if you've been made over again, and if you are totally different from the person that you were not too long ago, those type of things are going to send up red flags. You're going to say, you know what, I'm out of here. Because you live long enough to know what's better and what's best for your life journey. And so if you really love yourself, letting go is going to be easy. It's going to be easy. And if you love yourself, you're also not going to care how your decision is going to make people feel. As cold as that may sound, that comes from loving yourself. With all of that being said, it's just it's really not anything to go really deep into. It's like I was telling my friends, is that there were some things that gave me red flags, and so I just said, no, it's not gonna work. And she tried to contact me ever since then, but due to the fact that I know that she's not the type of woman that I want in my presence, why entertain it? Why go back and forth? Why text her back? Why do that? That's an abuse of time. And time is sacred. And as I said before, the mistake that we make as human beings in terms of time is thinking that we know how much of it we have left. Now, I don't have any sicknesses or anything like that, but I do know one thing. I'm not going to live out my latter years until I pass away living in conflict and disorder. I'm not going to do it. If I can avoid it, then I'm going to avoid it. And I would suggest the same thing. So I'm going to cut this short right here because I have some things to do, that's pretty much it. So everyone have a good evening, and everyone stay human. And I'm just going to be focusing more so on my writing, making videos, in terms of some of my thoughts put into my writing, like the other videos that I do, because these videos like these, I'm starting to I'm starting to not enjoy doing these a whole lot, because there's only so much that I'm going to talk about. I feel more comfortable being a writer because that's what I am, and that's what I've been put on this earth to do. I'm not trying to get famous. I'm not trying to be a big time YouTuber, because that's just not what my aim is. I want to write beautiful, inspirational stories, and I want to put um, a lot of writings and stories out there that deal with a whole lot of redemption. I love writing about redemption because I'm a witness of redemption, and I've always felt like redemption was the most beautiful thing in a living experience is redemption. You know, it's a person changing for the better, healing for the better. You know, I love redemption. You know, so I'm just going to be mostly focusing on my writing and everything. But I do appreciate all of you who took the time to listen to these videos. And YouTube has been trying to help me um, title my videos so that I can get more subscribers and more views and things like that. But you know, my whole thing when it comes to this YouTube thing is I'm not trying to get famous or anything like that. But I just like sharing what I know and what I've learned. And I don't believe that you find your audience finds you. So with all of that being said, everyone have a good night, and thank you for listening. Stay human.